Yes, welcome back to MIG Liquidity Edge. I'm Master fucking Mayfair. Um, the update is now complete. 46 hours of sit-down coding in 4 days. Tell me someone who does it quicker. It is a very heavy script now. What we've now got included is a higher time frame liquidity zone printing on a lower time frame chart, which we'll go into. We now have a 12-step proprietary grading system that's been broken down into 3 groups of 4, and then into a traffic light color-coded system after that. This basically allows you to see very quickly on the charts which one of our liquidity zones we believe will have the strongest form of confirmation. Now, of course, we will always consider and take into consideration the majority of our volume, so this isn't a simple, oh, it says A plus and it's green, let's bloody take it. Always consider market trend, consider time of day, very important. And if you want to be very conservative, look into the reaction of price the closer we go into that zone. If we have a very, very big bearish candle moving into a liquidity zone, I'm looking to see what the reaction is first. Okay, and we've said it multiple times. Our job is not to predict the market, our job is to react to it. Okay, so first things first, the first thing I do, we'll go into Friday so I can quickly run through it. Settings are pretty much the exact same. What we're looking for is, I'll show you here now. LiquidityEdge stays the same at the top. That's our overall settings. We now have our graded letters. You can change that if you're visually impaired to huge. Our high time frame zones now will show as gray blocks here. They do have their own labels, which you can turn on and off, show high time frame chart label, but that will be here. I'll circle it now. That'll be out 15 is for 15 minutes, and then that in and of itself also has a grade system also. And then we've got our high time frame transparency, that's preference. High time frame midline, we've included that only because what some traders call OTE. We've conducted a separate quant back test for our confirmation grades. What we found is on the higher time frame, if you require a more conservative entry with a higher profit factor, also if you're increasing your risk to reward, taking a 50% of a zone is long-term stronger. I'm a very aggressive trader, so I'm scalping in and out. I'm taking that original bounce. I'm then moving my stop loss to around 10 points break even. Sorry, I'm moving my stop loss to break even after 10 points. It's 5:56 in the morning, so. And okie doke, our lower time frame inset, again, preference, I keep it at 0.18, it's the best for it. And then everything pretty much stays the exact same. At the bottom, I think as default, this is orange for the C system. I changed that to red, again, preference, but nice and easy. Green is bloody good, A+. Yellow will be our, it's okay, but it's not elite. And C is still valid. You just really need to take chart context into consideration. So I like to look at the chart. We'll go to the Friday that's just passed. I like to look at the chart, 9:15, and see what our daily draw is. You can go over to a high time frame, look at where price sits, take into consideration previous session highs, take into consideration these key levels. If you're trading alongside your order flow or a separate software, even on actually TradingView, look for your volume profile, your POCs, your volume area highs, your VALs, etc. I would have simply taken this. This is clearly a 15-minute. We've got 41k as this draw of liquidity up here. It's the strongest out of the 3. And then if I look down, I've got a nice 14k here. If we look to the left, we also have a really nice support level here. So if I wanted to be aggressive, I can either take this AAA, and then look for a re-entry here. It's only a matter of 15 points. And my sell limit is up here. So if we see how market opens up, we bounce off of just short of the 24,600, clip in, and realistically I'm taking 10 points, moving into break even, and seeing if we can get this original draw of liquidity formed by that 9:30, 9:36. Very nice. I mean, in the space of 8 minutes, we're currently running 90 points. I got edged, I believe, on that take profit. I did, and then it hits afterwards. Happy days. Okay, and then realistically, if I want a super aggressive entry and I want a stupid tight stop loss here, and then a good entry would be the sheer fact that we've got this 15-minute blocks made here in gray. We've got these London points of contention. So if I really wanted to, I should be taking this position, but I'll show you how it pans out. The way I trade is very aggressive. I basically break down my allotted contracts. If I normally on a personal, I'll trade 20, 25, 26 contracts. Instead of risking 10 points on the full 25 contracts, I'll break that down to, let's say, divided by 5, allowing me to increase my risk by 5 as well. So the way I would have traded this is wait for price to come in. I'm only drawn down 20 points right now. Move to my, there we go. And then go on break even and see if I can ride this up. And that's personally how I trade. Okay, so if we're looking at that, happy days. But what we can see is that the drawn liquidity that had that stacked 15-minute area was the strongest. And then when I'm fighting for understanding exactly which one's which, this nice green traffic light A+, B setup hit perfectly. Like yeah, pretty much if we took the 50% OT, we got no drawdown. If we took our aggressive entry at the top of the block, we would have had 3.5 points of drawdown. And then that trade setup would have looked like this. A 1 to 30, which is very good. Now what I'm doing is post that 10 o'clock, I'm waiting to see, let's delete this. I'm waiting to see how price continues. Are we going to find another bounce here and get a double bottom? Or are we going to find this continuation down to the lower side? Yes, we do. There's that bounce that was on that CCC. Wasn't a strong level in regards to grading system, but it was mentally for us because what we could see here is that also overlapped down onto the previous London session low. Okay, wouldn't necessarily take that. Sell. See if we can find a reversal. Now, when you're trying to catch reversals, intraday reversals, time is very important. So what you're realistically looking for is anything past 2:30. Going into 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, power hour, the hour just before we close market, you'll see very, very strong pushes there. So if you are looking for a reversal for the day, what I tend to do is I want to see a strong liquidity zone break and then the opposing form. So if this was able to break this red sell up and then we have a very strong level form below, that tells us that the buyers have pushed in. If we can then see a second buy block actually appear and we can see that second level of liquidity from buyers kick in, that would be my entry effectively.